All right, good morning, everyone. Today is August 19th, 2020. This is a regular meeting of the members of the State Liquor Authority. Present today in Albany is Chairman Bradley. We have by video Commissioner Ford and Commissioner Fan. We also have in Albany Deputy Commissioner of Licensing Roberts, General Counsel Meyerhoff, and myself, Secretary Donahue. After a couple of announcements, the items will be called not necessarily in the order they're on the calendar. We have to make some adjustments, but we'll proceed. We'll let you know when we're going back in order again. The next meetings of the authority are September 2nd. The next regular meetings of the authority are September 2nd, September 16th, and September 30th. All right, so before we get to the calendar on Chairman, first, do you have anything?
No, thanks.
All right. What announcement from the Secretary's office, just a slight change for those of you who have licensees that have been summarily suspended, and there's a counteroffer for a CNC that's been accepted, which includes payment and then return of the license. The licenses will be returned going forward under the following process. Within 3 business days of the payment being received at Secretary's office, the license will be returned by our Enforcement Bureau. So if payment is received on a Monday, the license will be returned by Thursday. It's not going to be 72 hours anymore. Payment has to be received at Secretary's office in Albany, whether that's by mail, UPS, FedEx, any overnight service, or if you wanted to deliver it here. If you're going to deliver it here, you need to call Secretary's office in advance to let us know you're coming. You cannot pick up the license certificate at our offices. They're only going to be returned by the Enforcement Bureau. So please don't ask if you can come get them or if you can have them FedEx to you. They will be returned by one of the investigators. I think Deputy Commissioner Roberts, you have an announcement?
Yes, thanks. We have a retirement in our New York City office. Rose Thomas has been with the agency for almost 3 decades, and we wish her the very best in her retirement and thank her for her dedication and service to the state of New York and to the agency itself. Good luck, Rose.
Yes, Rose, good luck. I want to echo those sentiments. Thank you for all your hard work. And she was a pleasure to see every day as well.
All right then, the first item on the calendar, we're going to do the licensing items first. The first one is 939. It is Queens OP 1307871. It's J+4.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
939.
So this is a Queens on-premise. It's a 500-foot case. It is I believe, a karaoke bar.
That's correct.
In Queens. That's pretty much, it's actually a recon, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a recon. The full board disapproved the change in the method of operation, seeking to have the hours extended.
Right, okay.
And did so in part because there was some concern that the location had expanded into areas on the mezzanine and had a new head count, and there was some controversy over whether or not there was an unauthorized extension, et cetera, et cetera. So the recon came in, and the licensee's position is that there are 17 licensed karaoke rooms on the ground floor, and those are the only ones that are in use. There was apparently a build-out on the mezzanine, and there are rooms up there, but they're not being used. There were some errors in the application, that a typo, and the applicant, I guess they're an applicant for a change, informs us that those rooms are only being used as waiting rooms, and there's nothing being served in the waiting rooms. And that's why they want a reconsideration of their hours change. Since that was filed, just looking, I just want to pull this up. We learned that the location is advertising on its website 17 rooms and 3 rooms.
No, 5, additional 5. I see it.
Hold on. 9, 3.
No, you're right, with 3 top themed private rooms in addition to the 17 rooms. This is a memo from Deputy Commissioner Roberts.
Yeah, members, so yes, the supplemental material that I had submitted to you just was to confirm what they are advertising on their website as the 17 rooms as we had been notified about on the application. But there also appear to be advertising for 3 additional top themed rooms or top tier themed rooms also. Whether or not those rooms are being used for karaoke or for consumption of alcohol,
Or both.
could not be confirmed by myself. Using the registration links on their website to try to get more information about what was included in that was unable to be done based on the links on their website not leading us to anywhere other than it seemed broken links.
Okay.
Well, having said that, in fairness, the reconsideration is very clear that those rooms are only being used as waiting rooms.
Correct.
I find it odd that they would be simultaneously advertising those waiting rooms as 3 top themed private rooms. Understand, by the way, that that the advertisement on the website is in Chinese, and we ran a translation service, right?
Correct.
Is that how you did it? So based on the translation, it reads, with 3 top themed private rooms and 17 trendy entertainment private rooms. Hard to understand why they would be advertising their waiting rooms.
Okay.
All right, so with that, Commissioner Fan, are you ready to vote on the request for reconsideration?
Given the information presented by council, I vote to deny reconsideration.
Commissioner Ford,
I'm not exactly clear on where these other 3 rooms are. Is anyone else?
Well, in theory, the chart that they presented last time, there was rooms downstairs and rooms upstairs.
They identified in their reconsideration that there are 17 rooms on the ground floor, and that after their build out, I think they said there were 5 rooms on the mezzanine.
Correct.
That is what caused the members in part, at least that was the commentary on the record, to say, we don't even know if this licensee is in compliance, and it was part of the reason or part of the discussion in the initial denial. They've now confirmed in their letter seeking reconsideration that there are only 17 rooms in use. And there are the same, I don't know whether, they said they're on the ground floor, and that is the number of licensed rooms they have on the ground floor. And they said they are not using any of the mezzanine rooms. And now this advertisement suggests that they may indeed be using these mezzanine.
So based on the diagram, Commissioner, the only place these rooms could be is on the mezzanine.
Gotcha. All right. Then I vote to deny.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to deny based on Deputy Commissioner Adams' memo, as well as the fact that I don't find it in the public interest that this place should be open until 4, given the number of licensees in the area already that are open until 4. I don't see any public interest that would be served by extending their hours.
All right, then, next item, 966, Kings AX 1324917, Flatbush 271 Deli LLC. It's a new grocery store beer wine license. Beer wine products license.
So this, as Tom said, this is a grocery store beer wine. The wine product, the applicant's principal has no experience managing or working in a business with a license to sell alcoholic beverages. There's no protests. It's going to be a grocery store with 2 employees and principal will manage. How did this end up here? Oh, I'm sorry. The prior license at this location was canceled for availing. That's how.
Correct.
It does not appear that the availer is the applicant.
Commissioner Fan,
Vote to approve.
Commissioner Ford,
I vote to approve as well.
Chairman Bradley.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously have questions based on the previous availing, but we have no evidence that this applicant is tied to either the previous licensee or the availer, so I'll vote to approve.
Our next item, 967, is Naked Race LLC. It's a package store application.
This is a Chautauqua County package store application, 1,259 square feet, 907 square feet will be retail. The closest, there's four stores within 13.1 miles, 5 within 18.1 miles, and the closest store is 9 miles away.
Commissioner Fan,
I vote to approve.
Commissioner Ford,
I vote to approve as well with a lot of support from the mayor, not to mention the distance.
Chairman Bradley.
Yeah, I vote to approve. I think the distance itself between the closest stores makes it publicly convenient and advantageous.
968 is the next item, Ridgewood Convenience Inc. It's a new grocery store beer, wine products license.
Members, I'm going to ask that we hold this item over to the next board meeting. We have another grocery store license, same exact principle, same setup, coming before you for the same reasons. So I prefer that they were both heard together.
This is 968.
Correct.
Commissioner Fan, you okay with that?
Yes, please.
Commissioner Ford,
I'm fine, yes.
Chairman Bradley.
Yes.
Next item, 969, Delenny Restaurant Corp. It's a new restaurant wine license.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, are you asking if we have a menu on record?
Yes.
While he's looking for that, this is a Queens restaurant wine license in Far Rockaway. The last license here was suspended in October 2018. That license expired in May of 2019 with charges pending. An application was denied for this place in October of 2019 for cause. The location has significant adverse history, including the summary in 2018 for violence and focal point. There's no opposition. I do have a question regarding the lease. The lease appears to be less than a year. Is that?
$19 months, the first day of November 2019 until May of 2021. So at the time that they filed their application, it would have covered a 2-year period.
So that's
19
all?
months approximately.
So that's all that's required?
No, they would have to get an amended lease as part of a
So we can
condition
make it a condition.
to cover the entire term of the time that we were gonna license it.
Okay.
And also, Commissioner Fan, to your point, I don't see one on file, but we could also make that a condition of approval as well to make sure that it was sufficient.
All right, so this is a restaurant with 4 employees, no security. The principals are going to manage. It's recorded music plus a jukebox. 45 is the max occupancy. There's 8 tables with 32 seats, and the owners have no experience, it appears, in managing a licensed premise.
That's with that, Commissioner Fan.
So they have experience.
Do they?
Both own. Oh wait, no, they don't have No, they don't have experience. Oh, you're right. Why do they call it the store?
I have a friend in the restaurant business who calls his 9 restaurants stores.
Okay, good to know.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
I vote
It
to
does appear that I'm sorry, Commissioner, it does appear that Valentina Savalos does have restaurant experience as a manager from 2009, October of 19 to present.
Right, but that's this application.
I think
So
that's
this
this
restaurant is
correct.
probably
That's
running
correct.
already. It's probably open already, right?
Yeah, she's
Right.
managing a restaurant that does not have a liquor license.
So that would be the only experience is the current application we have.
Right. I approved 4 employees, 1 manager, recorded jukebox music only, 11 p.m. close. Sufficient maintenance condition. Thank you.
Commissioner Ford?
This place does have a terrible history, but they only ask for recorded and jukebox music, no dancing, no need for security guards. So I'm going to vote to approve it as well.
Chairman Bradley?
I'll vote to approve. And the 11 p.m. is because of the, correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Dan, the 11 p.m. is because of the curfew in New York. Once that is lifted, they can come back and ask for more hours. Right?
I think the 11 p.m. is what they requested.
Oh, okay, then it's 11 p.m. It was anyway, but.
Next item, 973, Trust on J Inc. It's a new restaurant wine license.
New restaurant wine in Flushing. The CB seems to have rescinded their opposition, which we did get earlier, because they didn't meet with them. But apparently they must have met with them because we got a letter rescinding the opposition. It's a restaurant with 10 employees, no security, recorded music only, no dancing. He's gonna hire a manager. The owner does have some experience with a licensed premise. The max occupancy is under 75. There's 14 tables. It appears that this is a vegetarian Italian restaurant with traditional pizzas, pastas, etc.
Roberts,
Yes.
do you want us to send this back to licensing board? I do think that for the licensee's sake, I think there is a difference between food board issued licenses and licensing board issued license. So do you want to take it back? And
I guess, I don't see a reason why. I mean, the members are just an
Okay.
extension of licensing board.
And the only reason I understand why
All
you're doing that. Commissioner Fan, the only reason it ended up on the board was because of the community board opposition. We did not get the letter in time to pull it off of the board, or it would have been done by licensing board. But I think it's quicker for us just to do it.
that's fine. I vote to approve 11 to 9 p.m. recorded music only. And if they need to, just go back to the community board, Queens 12.
Commissioner Ford?
I vote to approve on those grounds as well.
Chairman Bradley?
I vote to approve on the same grounds.
Next item, 981, is K&R Wine and Spirits LLC, a new package store license.
This is a Bronx package store. It's bulletproof. It's going to be 360 square feet, 280 of which will be retail. The closest store is 0.2 miles away. There are 5 stores within 0.5 miles. One manager overseeing the day-to-day operations. The manager, or I should say the applicant, does not have any experience with a licensed premise. This place is currently licensed, but the licensee was evicted. The license is in safekeeping, correct?
To check on the safekeeping part, but I know back in August of 2019, it appears that the New York City Marshal returned possession of the licensed premise to the landlord for a non-payment. So if that was the case, then they wouldn't have an active lease there anyway. And we did send investigators out to confirm that the licensed premise appeared to be closed as well around the same time.
And there is one protest from one of the closest stores.
Commissioner Fan?
And this is replacing an evicted store, and it's very small. I vote to approve.
Commissioner Ford?
The closest store which objected is Bulletproof. This store is really small, only like 280 square feet of retail, of 363 feet total. And the location was previously licensed, so I vote to approve.
Chairman Bradley.
I vote to approve because it was previously licensed, and as Commissioner Fan pointed out, 4 of the 5 closest stores didn't even bother to respond to our request for sales numbers, so I'm going with the assumption that their sales are all going up.
And just for the record, I do want to confirm that the license has not been placed into safekeeping. Based on information we received, we did send an abandonment letter, but we had no response.
So we deem it abandoned.
We would. In
Okay.
conjunction with the New York
Exactly.
City Marshal, and the investigation that we did to confirm that the place appeared not to be operating.
Okay.
Next item is 982, James E. Aldos. It's a new package store license.
This is a new package store in St. Lawrence County. It's 176 square feet. 100 square feet of that is retail. The closest store is 12.9 miles away. There are 5 stores within 23 miles. They don't have a lease, but it appears that this store is actually connected to their residence, although I don't believe you can walk from the store to their residence. So they separated the space out from their residence. There's no
Is it so-
employees the principals are going to manage.
It's zoned for commercial use?
I'm sorry,
Do
you
we know-
broke up a little bit there, Commissioner Fan.
Do we know if it's zoned for commercial use?
It's Edwards. It's Edwards. It's probably not zoned, period.
You
We
can do
can't-
that.
we
I
can't
can
hear
run
you.
this-
I got Commissioner Fan, Commissioner Ford. Commissioner Fan, you're gonna have to go back and repeat because you're breaking up on us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I was just wondering that, is the building zoned for commercial use? Can you run a store out of your home?
Commissioner Fan, it would depend on zoning ordinances for each county, obviously. So that we do have a building use permit on record from the Hamlet of Edwards for the space. So it appears that the Hamlet of Edwards has signed off on the use of the additional space based on the building permit that we have for them.
Okay, and I assume it's not bulletproof. It's not mentioned anywhere. Okay,
You know, it's pretty rural. It's pretty rural up there. It wouldn't be.
Yeah.
It would be to protect you from the wildlife if it was.
The Bears. Yeah.
Commissioner
okay.
Fan, your vote?
So it's a very small store. Store is 13 miles away. I find public convenience in issuing this license, so I vote to approve.
Commissioner Ford?
Yeah, this is in the Adirondack Park with the closest store almost 13 miles away. I see public convenience advantage, so I vote to approve as well.
Chairman Bradley?
I vote to approve on the same grounds as the other 2 commissioners.
Next item was held over, it's 996. Dakanyama NYC LLC. It's a restaurant wine license.
Restaurant wine license inside Bloomingdale's, correct? Yes, on 59th Street. Max occupancy of 45, seating for 26. This was a problem. It's a request for oh no, we held it over because of the lease. The lease had a high percentage of revenue for the landlord. They have now changed that lease to 9.9% of revenue after it hits a certain benchmark. Council, but you seem to still have questions regarding the lease?
Yeah, there's still a clause in the lease that suggests that the landlord has a level of control, is entitled to make reasonable policies related to the premise. We have issues with having any party who has, I guess, the right to manage or control management of a licensed premise in some way. They need to be on the lease. This at least leaves it vague as to whether or not they will have some level of control. So I would think that in an abundance of caution, we would need to, ask them to have that clause removed from the lease, if they can. Or it be clarified what those reasonable policies would entail, so we can decide whether or not that gives us an issue under the law.
So you want to hold it over again?
Well, I suppose it could be conditionally approved on the removal of that clause from the lease.
Yeah, I would agree if we went that way. So if the members want to consider the application and the lease as is, except for the clause in the lease that there is causing concern, that we could approve the license, make a conditional approval of the license, that they amend that portion of the lease, which gives some controlling portion of responsibility to the landlord, or
Okay.
decision-making.
Okay. And if the amendment is not just removing it and it somehow changes, please let me take a look at it
Okay.
before we conclude that the condition's been met. We may
Okay.
need to ask them to come back in if they don't just remove it.
And then the other issue I have is they're asking for a DJ, which I don't. This is a restaurant inside a retail store. I don't see the need for a DJ.
Gary, do you have particularly the specific part of the lease that you have concern over?
It's the clause that you mentioned in your memo.
Okay.
All right, so, Commissioner Fan, are you ready to vote on this?
Yes, let me just, hold on a second, let me just pull up. All right, I'm good.
All right, so, the chairman right now is suggesting that there be, two conditions placed on it. One is making it subject to the removal of the problematic language in the lease, and second, no DJ. Is that correct, Chairman?
Well, that's my,
I know
that's my decision.
I just want to.
It doesn't have to be
Get
theirs.
the
but-
discussion going.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Commissioner Fan?
Yes, I agree with the chairman. And since the landlord is also a licensee, given that I have some confidence that their reasonable qualities is to actually keep the restaurant in compliance and not the other way around. And so, but, as council said, it is problematic and we will only, issue the license if they remove that language from the lease. I will approve this restaurant wine license for a Japanese restaurant inside of Bloomingdale's with closing hours in conjunction with the closing of the store hours.
All right, Commissioner Ford?
I still have a couple of questions. You said that the rent seems to be in three tiers. Is the base rent plus 16% of the first 20,000 in rent, base rent plus 11% over 20,000 in net?
Commissioner,
Yes.
that, they changed all that.
So,
now
but
it's
it's base rent plus 9.9% across the board. It says,
Which we do allow.
so if total is less than 350K, it's still 9.9% on all three tiers.
based on
So-
the supplemental lease that they provided, yes.
All right. Then I'll vote to approve on all that, plus that other language being removed and the other stipulations that Commissioner Fan noted.
And,
I'll do the same.
So just to click, no DJ, correct?
right.
And the waiver for the two restrooms is approved?
Yes.
Okay.
And what was, did Commissioner Fan, did you say anything about hours, or are we just leaving that to the?
I said
hours?
just in conjunction with the store hours.
Which I think is what,
Okay,
I think that's fair, right?
all right.
our next item is 998. This is a matter that was held over. It's Rockaway Boulevard Wine and Liquors, Inc., new package store license.
This is not bulletproof. It's a Queens package store, 1,760 square feet. 1,054 of it will be retail. The principal will hire a manager. The closest store is 0.2 miles away. There are 4 stores within 0.4 miles. The owner is 23 years old, which does not make him ineligible, but I think it should be noted.
Commissioner Fan?
There's a new store that's 0.3 miles that was just put there on November of 19. And the closest stores are really not doing great numbers. Fourth store is going down, third store is at best flat. And so I don't see a need, I don't see public convenience to place another store. Vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford?
I vote to deny for the same reasons.
Chairman Bradley.
I vote to deny as well for the same reason.
Next item is 999. It's Charlie Store Corp. This is a new tavern wine license.
It's a Bronx Tavern wine license. It's a tavern with 2 billiard tables. There will be additionally 4 tables with 2 seats at each. The max occupancy is 30 people. She has no experience and had previously applied for a license at this location. She didn't apply, take it back. She was an undisclosed owner of an application. So she basically previously tried to mislead the authority. She has submitted a memo that tries to explain how that and why that happened. It previously was a barber shop. The other concern I have is that it appears she's only putting $1,252 into this, but I think the billiard hall is open already, so that might not be that low an amount.
Yes, and for the record, she claims that the reason she was an undisclosed party the first time, even though she was on the lease, is because she'd separated from the gentleman. She was in a relationship with the gentleman who is apparently a convicted felon and didn't disclose that he was a convicted felon, or at least convicted of crimes, I believe. And she was on the lease. That was why the application was denied the first time. She claims that since that time, he's now out of the picture in the place, and she's decided to take it over. And she only explained that after this appeared on the agenda as a reason why the license might be declined.
And then after that point, and the license was declined, never bothered to take her name off the lease.
I guess.
Well, she ran the barber shop at this location before. So maybe that's why she was on the lease.
In any event, her story is that the gentleman, Julio Delgado Martinez, is not going to be involved going forward. And he applied for this license once before and was denied. That is her position.
Okay.
Commissioner Fan, you ready to vote?
Um, I actually just can't bring myself to understand the story. I vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford.
I want to vote to approve. Give her the benefit of the doubt, but I'm just not clear about this, so I have to vote to deny as well.
Chairman Bradley.
Yeah, I'm going to vote to deny. I mean, whether it was by accident or on purpose, we were misled in the previous application, and at this point in time, I'm not prepared to believe her.
Or the next
So I
item.
think there may or could be an undisclosed interest on the other side this time.
Next item is 1002 Organic Corner Inc. It's a request to extend the deadline for conditional approval.
Sorry.
We'll give 6 months,
1002.
6 months, March 1st, 2021.
Commissioner Ford.
I'm okay with that.
Chairman Bradley.
When was this conditionally approved?
2/1/19, so it actually, I believe it should be
Okay.
2/1/21, but
All right, I'll do 6 months too.
So we're going with 3/1/21.
3/1/21.
Commissioner Fan. All right, next item, 1007, 32 Bunker 2 Inc. This is another request to extend the deadline for conditional approval.
So the lawyer wants December 27, but the client wants March 30, 2021.
What else is new?
So I think I go with the client's date, March 30, 2021.
So, yeah, and I have a problem with this one because, not that I'm not going to extend it here, but this one is ridiculous. This goes back, this conditional approval goes back to 2018, right?
It's correct, 12, let me get the exact date.
12/26.
12/27.
So, I mean, I'll do it, but this is the last one, whatever we decide. I'm not, I mean, we can't be extending these things for 3 years.
Commissioner Ford?
I found it interesting that both the attorney and the applicant both took credit for missing the deadline in different ways. But anyway, I'll still give them March 2021 as a last chance for gas.
All right, next item is 1008, Bond by NYC Inc. This is another request to extend the deadline for conditional approval.
I'm good with 6 months, February 4th, 2021.
Commissioner Ford?
6 months.
Chairman Bradley?
6 months.
Next item, 1010, Sushi on White LLC. It's another request to extend the deadline for conditional approval.
March 6th, 2021.
Commissioner Ford?
March 6th.
Chairman Bradley?
2021.
All right. 1024, Clinton Hill Ventures LLC. It's another request to extend the deadline for conditional approval. Commissioner Fan?
I think they want until November 30, 2020. That's fine with me.
Commissioner Ford?
What date again was that, Commissioner Fan?
November 30, 2020.
Oh, this year. Sure, no problem.
All right. Chairman Bradley?
Yeah, I'll do the same.
All right, next item, 1031, is Chaco Group LLC. It's a new package store application.
Hold on one second.
1031. This is the Park Slope one.
So this is a Brooklyn package store, 600 square feet, or 640 square feet total. 600 of that will be retail. They want a warehouse permit for the basement. The principal is to manage 2 employees. One partner does have some experience. Closest store is 0.2 miles away. There's 7 stores within 0.4 miles away. 8 stores within 0.5 miles, 10 stores within 0.6 miles, according to the opposition. And there are 4 protests.
Commissioner Fan?
Given that all the stores in the area are very slow right now, I don't really see public convenience advantage to add another store, so I vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford?
You know, it looks like a really nice building, probably a great location, but there's 7 stores within 0.4 of a mile, like 10 stores within 0.6 of a mile. And as Commissioner said, no one seems to be, burning down the house right now. So I'm going to vote to deny as well.
Next item,
Do I
1030.
get to vote?
Oh, I forgot, yeah. Oh,
Jesus. I vote to deny for the same reasons the other commissioners
Woodward?
stated. Plus, there does not appear to be any significant change in the population over an 8-year period that would indicate that there is any public convenience and advantage to adding another store. Plus, obviously, there's a number of stores already in this area.
Chairman Chop Liver votes too. All right. Item 1032, Elmaya Tavern Corp. This is a new tavern wine license.
This is a Queen's Tavern wine license. The principal and manager appear to have no experience. The max occupancy is going to be 42, although the application indicates that there's seats at the table, at tables for 42, plus 6 more at the bar. It's a tavern with 4 employees, 1 security guard and manager, jukebox, DJ, karaoke, recorded music, and dancing. The previous license had an extensive adverse history. This method of operation appears exactly the same. The applicant also got a license in June of 2020 with no experience. He's looking to add another one 2 months later. At this point, I don't think we've had any problems with his other license.
Yeah,
I'm just pointing
I
out.
checked. We have no record of an issue with the license he got in June.
But prior to that license, it did not appear he had no experience. It appeared he had no experience.
All right, with that,
This is a pretty small place. And like you said, the previous license was canceled here, and they're pretty much asking for
I don't
what
think
was.
it was canceled, was it?
It was an 18.
Oh, it was, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it looks like they're asking for the same thing, all the DJs, live music, dancing. So I don't know, I'm not sure that I'm willing to give them all of that. I'm not saying I'm going to deny, but I'm not willing to give them all of that.
okay, so Commissioner Fan, your vote?
I agree with Commissioner Ford. I will vote to approve, but with certain conditions. I will do 1 a.m. across the board, no promoters, recorded music only, 1 manager, 1 security guard, no DJs, no promoters, no dancing.
Karaoke.
Or just recorded music
I
only?
think that's recorded music.
No,
No, it's not.
it's not.
Well, let's not start that discussion.
No, it's on our license applications,
It's a
and
separate
he's
category.
asked for it. So if you're saying recorded
Then
music
no
only.
Then no karaoke if you consider karaoke live music.
Well, it's just a separate, it's on the application as a separate box, that's all. I don't know what I consider it.
I know what I consider it, but I don't know that that's relevant.
All right, so just to be clear, it's a 1 a.m. closing, recorded, the only entertainment is recorded music, no promoters, a manager, and 1 security guard. All right, Commissioner Ford, your vote.
I vote for the same.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit there.
I'm sorry, I vote for the same.
He votes for the same.
Yeah.
Did they say no dancing?
Your mic's a little hot, Commissioner Ford.
I'm sorry about that. No.
So I'm voting to deny. The principal already just got licensed in another place in the general area, and I think with no experience, he needs to focus on that one first before he starts another one. He was obviously asking for something, in my mind, was almost identical to the place that we canceled, and I don't know that with his lack of experience, I'm comfortable giving that to him.
All right, then the next item is 1033. It's JD's Tavern and Grill LLC. It's a new on-premises liquor license.
You said 1033?
1033, JD's Tavern and Grill LLC.
Oswego Tavern with 4 employees, no security. Principal will manage recorded music, jukebox, live music, and patron dancing. The previous license here was canceled. The place has a bad history, and the applicant worked there, appears to have worked there previously, although it's the years that she worked there seem to be conflicting in the application. The applicant has been unemployed previously for 10 years prior to this. There are residents right across the street from this place. It also has an outdoor backyard with a covered pavilion.
Commissioner Fan?
Commissioner Ford, do you know this area?
Pretty well? Yes. She said in her statement, she said that she works at, at Mel's Place? but it was called Mel's Mine, so I can see how she would just off the cuff refer to that.
Yeah,
And
but
again,
the years she says she worked there were not the years it was called Mel's Mine, right?
no, but that's what it was for the past 7 years with that it was open, so I could see how she could just, yeah, I worked at Mel's place. You know, not saying what it was before then. I could see why someone would just off the cuff refer to it that way. I don't think she was trying to hide anything.
Okay. All right. And with that, I vote to approve. I would vote to approve
Yeah.
across the board.
Commissioner Ford,
Yeah, 2 a.m. in Oswego County. Yes, I vote to approve as well.
Chairman Bradley,
Nothing for the outside, 2 a.m. on the outside as well? Are we on mute?
No, I was thinking. It happens sometimes. Let's go with midnight outside and 2 a.m. Inside.
Commissioner Fan, are you okay with that?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Chairman Bradley,
I was gonna vote to deny.
are you
Because
still,
of the,
are you still
yeah,
gonna vote
yeah,
tonight?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. Because of the history and, the fact that I can't tell which one she worked at myself.
All right, the next item,
I'm sorry, Tom, so 2 a.m. inside, what was the outside closing?
midnight.
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 10:34, next item is 10:34, Nova Era Group LLC, it's a new restaurant wine license.
This is a Bronx restaurant wine. The prior application for a license at this location was denied in 2019 because the applicant was availing the license that was there at the time. The license was then canceled because of availing plus other charges. It's going to be a restaurant with 6 employees, no security. Principals will manage. It's going to have a jukebox, karaoke, DJ, and recorded music. The max seating is 72. And they're saying there's going to be 5 tables with seating for 21. Neither applicant has what appears to me not to have any experience.
All right, with that, Commissioner Fan,
I don't see any relationship between these applicants and the prior person who denied. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Okay. All right. Yeah. Vote to approve. Only owners, manager, no promoters, no security guards. 11 p.m. across the board.
Commissioner Ford,
My only concern was any prior relationship, and I don't really see evidence of it either. So I vote to approve as well with the same conditions as stated by Commissioner Fan.
Chairman Bradley,
I didn't hear her conditions, so I'm going to just tell me if I didn't hit any. I'll vote to approve 11 p.m. closing, no karaoke, no DJ, recorded music and jukebox okay, no promoters. Did she do the same thing? I didn't hear.
She
Yes.
said recorded music only, but you're, Commissioner Fan, you're okay with the jukebox as well?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
okay. And Commissioner Ford?
Yes,
All
same.
right. Next item is 10:35, Food Line Deli Grocery Corp., a new grocery store beer license.
Vote to approve.
So the previous application was denied in 2019 because the applicant had been canceled elsewhere, and the applicant also failed to disclose that cancellation. This is not the same applicant, correct?
No, just the location.
Okay.
All right, Commissioner Ford?
I vote to approve as well.
Chairman Bradley?
I'll vote to approve.
Next item, 10:35H, Willow and Post LLC. It's a new package store license.
It's in the supplementals.
I know.
Or the-
All right, this is a Sullivan County package store in Mountaindale, which is a hamlet. It's 374 square feet. The entire space will be used for retail sales. There are 4 stores in 5.8 miles. The closest store is 1.86 miles. They're all non-bulletproof. We didn't get responses from 2 of the closest. We didn't get responses from the 2 closest, I should say.
Commissioner Fan?
As Chairman said, no responses from the 2 closest stores. The third store are 4 to 5 miles away, and they're both showing some improvement in their sales numbers. This applicant has many, many letters of support from the community, and they've already been running the retail business in the community. So I find the convenience opening the store, and so I will vote to approve because there's also no protest.
Commissioner Ford?
I vote to approve for all the same reasons.
Chairman Bradley?
I'll vote to approve for the same reason.
Now we're gonna do a couple items where the chairman has to recuse himself.
I'm gonna actually leave them on that.
Okay then, the first items 1035A, B, and C. It's Bulbacar Inc. This is a conditional no contest offer of $35,000. Summary suspension has been in effect since July 22nd.
1035A.
Yes, A, B, and C. Yep. Commissioner Fan?
Yeah, let me just say for the record,
Hold on.
can I just say for the record that
Yes.
what's before the members today is actually charges, many charges that predate the COVID-19 restrictions, and then some additional charges on a series of dates after the COVID-19 restrictions were put in place. 3 separate NOPs. Sorry, go ahead, Commissioner Fan.
Up 35,000.
Commissioner Ford?
I vote to accept it as well.
Then the next item is 1035G. It's Gold Room BK LLC. This is a no contest plea. There was a summary suspension issued on August 8th of 2020.
I'm at 10,000.
Commissioner Ford?
One table with patrons eating inside. No, I was thinking lower than that, but been licensed for a year and a half. So
You-
I was going to say 5,000, Commissioner.
I'll go with 5.
5,000 for both of you, okay. And the next item, and this is the last item that the chairman has to recuse himself from, 1035K. It's Downtown Restaurant Company LLC. This is a $20,000 conditional no contest offer for a summary suspension that was imposed on July 23rd. Commissioner Fan?
I'm gonna lower this to, I'm gonna counter with, 10,000, 11 PM closing and incidental music only.
When you say incidental, do you mean recorded background music?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Ford,
And you said 11 PM closing
Say that again?
and 11 PM closing
Yes, well, just to meet the curfew, right?
for now, yes.
And
So
then
once,
Hold
the
on.
music.
well, yeah,
Hold on a second.
so, just so I get clarification. The other ones you proposed, 11 PM curfew, that becomes their closing time until such time as they apply to change it.
Through a method of operation again.
Right, so,
So if you're going to impose 11 PM closing time, that's what's going on the license and isn't just temporary based on the time that New York City has indicated that places need to be shut.
Yeah, but we discussed this generally last board meeting, that's what we were gonna do.
yeah,
And then they're gonna file for a method of
Right,
operation.
that's,
I'm just trying to get clarification on
All
this
right,
one.
well, that's,
All right, so Commissioner Fan, is that what you're countering with?
Yes, 11 PM closing, incidental music and,
Right.
1,000.
$10,000, right? Commissioner Ford?
I'll go along with that too. And again, the reason for the reduced fine, in my mind, is because they've been open since 1997.
All right, then the next item, Chairman, you're back with this one?
With no history.
Is 931. This is a no contest offer. It's Glow 718 Corp. It's a no contest offer. There was a summary suspension issued on July 29th.
I'm at 10,000.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll go with 10,000 as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I was at, I mean, this place has been open 1.5 years, they've already paid 4,000 in fines. I don't, in 1.5 years, so I don't see how they should be held in the same way that a place that we just gave 10,000 to that had no history should be held, particularly when they're only open 1.5 years. So I was gonna go at least to 15, but
I'll go with 15.
I'll go to 15, 11 PM and incidental music only, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So Commissioner Ford, Commissioner Ford,
Yes.
recorded background music only and 11 PM closing?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's not a counter because that's.
No, that's
just
just a penalty, right. Next item, 1035D. And just so anybody who's watching, we are now doing the items where there's been a summary suspension and licensees have either entered a no contest plea or submitting a conditional no contest offer. Next item is 1035D. Eclo Inc. This is a $12,000 civil penalty offer. The summary suspension was issued on August 8th.
I need to clarify that although your memo reflects it's a $12,000 offer, the offer is actually $15,000.
Yeah, I caught that too.
I would also note for the record that the licensee submitted a letter asking for leniency based on the fact that the weather is what caused him to invite patrons inside. And it was a snap decision to protect their safety from the rain and lightning. But the pictures that were presented to the members reflect people eating inside and outside at the same time. That was the basis on which we suspended the license, casting some doubt on the licensee's explanation and request for leniency.
$15,000, 11 PM close, incidental music only.
So that's a counter offer then.
Yes.
Commissioner Ford,
Uh, I was willing to accept the 12,000 and the other, incidental music and 11.
Commissioner Ford, the prosecutor had 12 on the agenda sheet, but 15 on the 15 is the actual offer.
The actual offer sent in by the licensee was 15,000. There's a typo on your agenda sheet.
Oh, okay, all right. The 15,000.
Are you just accepting the 15,000, not the counter offer then?
And the counter offer. Incidental music, 11 p.m. closing, yes.
I'll do the same.
Can we clarify for the record, did we clarify for the record what incidental music is?
Which recorded background music.
Yeah, let's start calling it recorded
Yes.
background because that's generally what we do.
Yes. And when our licensees look at the video, they will not have heard what we said perhaps on an earlier case as to what that meant, so we should be.
Well, the emails and the notices of disposition will all indicate recorded background music.
Okay.
The next item is 1035E, Vermio Food Corp. This is a $15,000 civil penalty offer for emergency suspension that was issued on August 3rd. Commissioner Fan?
I'd also just like to note for the record that Mr. Mailer sent in a mitigation letter in which he characterized the violations as involving patrons not wearing masks. That was not the violation. The violation concerned employees wearing masks. And I encourage all counsel, before characterizing the charges, that they be sure to look at the video of the meeting and seek records if they need to understand the charges specifically.
Commissioner Fan?
I would counter at 15,000, 11 p.m. close, and recorded background music only.
Commissioner Ford?
I'll go with that as well.
Chairman Bradley?
I'll do the same.
Next item, 1035F. Milana's LLC, this is a no contest plea. There was a summary suspension imposed on July 30th. Commissioner Fan?
So just so everybody's clear, there's another open EO violation case involving this place from 6/24/20 that is on the next board calendar with a CNC, correct?
It was CNC at $1,500. That will be before you on the 2nd.
Yes, and that affects that certainly is, the existence of that other case is relevant to an assessment of discipline, I would respectfully suggest, because this licensee was warned, or at least on notice, that he was already violating the law when these events took place on July 24th. He had already pleaded not guilty to that matter.
Yeah, and I'm concerned that, this representative's letter really doesn't say how they're going to be improving from here onwards. It really just talks about how they're not the bad actor.
No, I agree with you. And the thing that bothers me,
Charged twice.
the thing that bothers me the most about it is, and this is not the only representative that has said this, but that they're complaining that the regulations imposed on the executive order are confusing, yet this licensee, one, he's violated them now twice, and two, I don't know how confused you can be when the executive order indicates that all of your staff have to be wearing face masks, and 7 of this licensee's staff were found without wearing face masks. I don't see how that could ever be confusing unless you're speaking in a different language and you don't understand the language. Literally, 4 kitchen staff who were cooking food were without face coverings.
And the manager even.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so with that, Commissioner Fan,
I will, I'm at 20,000, and 11 PM close, recorded background music only.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll go with 20,000 as well, and background music 11 p.m.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll agree with that.
Next items, 1035L and M. It's 127 Westchester Square Restaurant LLC. This is a conditional no contest offer of $20,000 civil penalty plus, as phrased by the attorney, current permissible service area to be closed at 11 p.m. and no music in current permissible service area. I believe he's referring to the outdoor dining area.
Yeah.
The summary suspension went into effect on August 3rd.
I'll also note about the letter that one of the issues that arose in this case was that when our investigator asked the person to identify himself, who seemed to be managing the place, he identified himself as the owner, and he's not on the license. And the person who is on the license, I believe, identified themselves as the manager or something like that. But there was some confusion about who is the owner of the location, and that was not clarified.
Yeah, no, I mean, based on the write-up, the manager stated they were the owners and family. There were individuals, a mail server, Jose Antonio Rosado, stated he was one of the co-owners.
Right. And
When the
the,
actual sole principal, Javier Rodriguez, identified himself as an assistant manager. I'm not opening this place up until that's clarified.
I was just gonna say, for the record, that was not clarified in the letter sent by their counsel, asking for.
I mean, it appears there could potentially be 3 owners on this thing. And I would ask that I realize our enforcement division is strapped at the current state, but can they start a investigation on what interests Jose Antonio Rosado has in this place? Or the other person that indicated he was an owner? We can hold it over. And I'll see what they want to do, but that's what I want to do.
All right, Commissioner Fan,
Yeah, I had the same note, which was we need to investigate the available. I
So,
was
Commissioner-
willing to take the 20 and let that be the next investigation, but I can also agree with the chairman that they shouldn't open until we get that clarified. So hold it
you want-
over.
all right, so you want to hold over to the second, and we'll
Yeah.
have enforcement investigate the situation, okay?
Yeah, the lawyer should be trying to clarify it as well, but I mean, if they're availing the license, they probably should come clean on that.
The
I don't know
lawyer
that
should
it'll
not
serve.
be expecting to just send a letter
Yeah.
trying to explain this away. The lawyer should be organizing the licensee, if that is who his client is, to come in for an interview to attempt to explain it if there is an explanation.
Right.
Commissioner Ford,
I'm fine with over to 9-2.
Chairman Bradley, I assume you're good with that, yeah. Next items, 1035N and O. It's CNS Gourmet Meals and Deli, Inc. This is a conditional no contest offer of $15,000 and an 11 p.m. closing time. A summary suspension was issued on July 27th.
This is another one, right? Where the
Yes,
investigator
which
asked,
has availing, yes.
yeah,
Yes,
All right,
not
so.
clear who the owner is. And there,
Thomas Conway.
actually, there is an explanation on that one. I don't know
That
if it's one that the board will accept. But they claim that there was a corporate change at some point, and I guess the new person involved in the corporation claims that he thought it was taken care of, but it was not. Apparently not. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that, at least they attempted to explain it in this case. They did not in the other case.
All right, Commissioner Fan?
I mean, I am still, I mean, the notes here say that the corporate change is not being made a condition because of the availing is not a charge. So
Well,
how do we want to fix that?
there's also, and I'll just say it out loud, there's the issue of the fact that this gentleman who claims to have thought there was a corporate change was on the premises and warned once on the first incident, I believe. Do I have that right?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
he
then he,
identified himself the first time.
right, and then he was there again when, after the problems had escalated, and there were more people out in front of his location.
And this is 3 days in a row. So he's warned on the 19th. Again, we showed up on the 20th, and again on the 23rd, which led to the
The suspension, yeah.
right.
And he hasn't been vetted because we never considered a corporate change application.
Commissioner Fan?
Do we have anything filed? Adam?
As far as anything recent, no.
Do we have anything old filed, Dean?
It looks like Ms. Gallagher is going to say something.
I don't know if, yeah, this was my case. Part of the packet that he sent, which should have been included with the board materials because it was attached to the statement of mitigation, was the proposed corporate change application that they did not submit yet. It was just prepared. The attorney is preparing to submit it if the board accepts the CNC.
No, and I see that, and it's dated.
Okay.
It's dated August 11th, but to me, the only reason it's being submitted is because he got caught. Do we know how long he's owned this place? He owns 30. It appears from the corporate change he owns 33% or 33.3%. So he owns 1/3 of it.
I don't know when,
He's listed as the president.
I do not know when the corporate change actually took place. What the attorney, the current attorney is saying is that it was done by a different attorney and that attorney didn't file the corporate change with the agency. And that's why this licensee believed that it had been done, but it wasn't. That was the explanation.
But he doesn't have a copy of the one that never got filed.
Right.
And the applicant never followed through on that to make sure that it was done?
Well,
Your knowledge?
well, what the lawyer is representing is that he doesn't know what happened before because he wasn't involved. So I don't know how relevant any of that is.
Okay.
So why don't we leave it there?
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Fan?
So is a corporate change on file?
No.
No, it has
It's
not
not
been
on
filed.
file, it's been presented.
It's been presented.
So apparently he doesn't want his 33 1/3% if we're going to cancel the license. That's essentially the way I'm reading it.
Yeah.
All right. So we don't want to hold it over, right?
Whatever you want to do.
I mean, are we going to get to the bottom? I don't feel like in this instance, there's any more investigation to be done, right? Because they have already showed their cards. There's no investigation.
No, we can just charge them. Yes, we have enough to charge them.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so I will counter at 20,000, 11 p.m. close and recorded background music only.
Commissioner Ford?
Counting it the same.
Chairman Bradley?
I'll do the same. I'm just looking at the corporate minutes here to see. I'm assuming this is all done on August 11th.
All right
Okay.
then, you ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, next item, 1035P. It's Arrowhead Timber Lodge LLC. This is a request for reconsideration of a summary suspension order that's been issued.
Yeah, I have a few things to say about this one. So as you know, because you've been provided with it, counsel to two couples who, at the time a lawsuit was filed, had weddings planned at this location, has asked I guess they representing Arrowhead Timber Lodge as well, asked that we return the license to Arrowhead because of a subsequent lawsuit, preliminary injunction order. The case is DiMartile v. Cuomo. According to the applicant, according to the lawyer requesting reconsideration, the lawsuit was filed on July 31st. And the implication of his letter is that the board, and frankly my office, brought the suspension because they filed a lawsuit. And I can certainly represent that that is not true. I was unaware of the lawsuit. The lawsuit does not mention or name the State Liquor Authority. It's a lawsuit that challenges the 50-person limit on events.
I think we can all attest to the fact that I wasn't aware of it either.
All right. But in any event, as you will recall, the case involved a location that had been warned twice that they could not hold wedding receptions of more than 50 people. And our investigator went there on August 1st, which, although it's the day after this lawsuit was filed, I have no reason to believe the investigator knew about the lawsuit. He'd been in contact with this licensee before the lawsuit was filed. And when he went there, he observed, without disrupting the events or identifying himself, because it would have been a very uncomfortable situation to be in with a large crowd, observed 2 weddings going on with more than 50 people there, took some pictures, also observed, and his report reflected social distancing and other DOH violations. Some pictures that he took reflected that. The board voted to suspend the license after reviewing that evidence and hearing argument on August 6th. And the preliminary injunction was entered on August 7th, the day after. The injunction, as I said, does not name the State Liquor Authority, and the plaintiffs in the injunction in that case are limited to the 2 couples who brought the lawsuit. And the relief with respect to the 50-person limit applies to them. It doesn't say anything about whether or not this venue is entitled to a liquor license. And then we learned some things after the suspension that I want to report and reflect on the record. That weekend, a wedding was held. One of the couples that had filed the lawsuit actually had their wedding that weekend, I guess on August 8th or 7th or 8th. And there are photographs that I've seen of people going to a truck in the parking lot and getting wine and bringing it onto the premises of a suspended license. We have not charged that violation yet. We're still investigating it. But if that is true, that would be a violation of the law. It would be an illegal bottle club, allowing alcohol to be consumed on the location where there's a suspended license. Another thing that's happened is the New York State and the defendants in the DiMartile case have filed an emergency appeal to the Second Circuit on the preliminary injunction order that applies to these 2 couples. There is still another couple that is set to be married in a couple of weeks. And the third thing that happened is we uncovered pictures of the August 1st wedding, which is the events that led to the board summary suspension. And we on the Facebook postings of, I guess, the married couple or their friends, you have those pictures. It's clear from those pictures that it is the same couple, the same event that our investigator was at. And in the pictures, you can see the couples dancing and not social distancing. The evidence of the types of violations that we suspend licensees for that are restaurants.
Not just the couples, I think the pictures
Oh, yeah.
show guests.
Guests are dancing. So I guess the point I'm making is, if we had seen those pictures, at the time, and there was and we did not know about a violation of the 50-person rule, my office certainly would have presented that case to you as a summary suspension if this was just a restaurant operating under the restrictions that relate to restaurants. So all of that forms the record for what is a request to return the license so that this location, I suppose, can serve alcohol at any events it likes in the future.
Commissioner Fan, your vote on the request for
Sorry,
reconsideration.
sorry. Can I just clarify, Gary, what you just said?
Yeah.
Tell me about the truck again.
After we suspended the license,
Mm-hmm,
that was on a Thursday. Then they
yes,
got a preliminary injunction on the following day, which was Friday, August 7th.
yes,
And then that weekend, I actually expected when I saw the preliminary injunction, because I was notified about it on that Friday. That was the first time I learned about this lawsuit. I
yes.
assumed that we were going to hear from the venue asking us for the license back. We didn't hear from them. They apparently went forward and had the wedding. And while we don't have any information on what happened inside, we do know that I believe maybe it was the Erie Department of Health. Someone was out there and got a photograph and witnessed alcohol, the guests, I suppose, or somebody getting alcohol from a truck that was parked in the parking lot and bringing it into the venue.
And was it like in open containers, or was it like they're taking bottles of wine? We don't,
I don't think it was bottles. That is all I know.
okay. Essentially,
And
they have
I'm not-
circumvented the suspension and they're serving in a different way anyway. Like they're serving maybe using a catering.
I don't know
system.
that you would call that service, and I'm not asking you to consider that as a violation since we have not charged it yet. But I do think it is relevant to analysis of whether or not you believe that the public health, safety, and welfare continues to be at risk at this location. It's additional information that I believe is relevant to that inquiry, but we are not asking you to find or rule on that information alone. In fact, the only thing that's before you is whether you're going to reconsider the current suspension based on the record that's been presented to you.
Yes, I understand. But as you said, one of the two couples have not had their weddings yet, right? And so in theory, what they presented to the court, that they intend to have their wedding at this location, and the court has said that they should be allowed to have this wedding at the capacity that is below 50% of the venue's capacity. But the court decision does not talk about alcohol.
The court, not only that, the court decision is on appeal. And
The whole case didn't talk about alcohol, it was only about capacity.
I also understand that the judge who entered this injunction is also entertaining a motion for reconsideration or something of the kind that's currently being briefed right now.
I mean, I think that what his presentation requires is we summarily suspended this place on two issues. One, for going beyond the capacity, because we obviously were not aware there was a lawsuit going on at the time, and the injunction was not in place at the time that we voted. And two, their complete violation of the executive orders regarding social distancing, failure for people to wear masks, failure of people to be seated and dining while they're being served. The pictures that we had indicated that none of that was going on. They were clearly standing, no masks, and now we got more pictures of the same date. And those pictures are also indicative of the fact that there was no social distancing caution whatsoever. There was dancing with multiple groups of people. There were clearly people drinking while standing, things of that nature. So given that the judge ruled that 50% capacity, because this place is primarily a restaurant, is permitted, in your mind, does a summary suspension hold up because of the EO violations? That's what you're here to decide,
Yeah, and
based on the reconsideration.
but I would go further than that and say that this licensee, who's under our jurisdiction and is permitted to serve alcohol as long as it complies with the law, was well aware of the restriction on August 30th.
Correct.
There was no order in place that allowed them to have more than 50 people.
July 30th. July 30th.
July 30th?
Correct.
July 30th.
Yes. Yeah.
August 1st actually was the date of the wedding. They were well aware that not only of the rule, but that they were seeking to try to change it through an injunction. But they didn't wait for the ruling. They decided to violate the law anyway. They had no reason to know that 7 days later, they were going to prevail, at least at the preliminary injunction stage, and who knows if that will stand, based on the own judges, on that same judge's reconsideration or the appeal to the Second Circuit. So we have a licensee that's willing to break the law if it believes it's entitled to, broke the law in 2 respects, and we now have evidence on the, non-event limit restriction basis, the lack of social distancing, allowing dancing. I mean, if I had brought you a case that showed pictures of people dancing in a restaurant in New York City, well, not in New York City, would say outside, because that would be inside and it wouldn't be permitted, but anywhere, that would be a location that was not following the rules. Anywhere in New York State, restaurant services is limited to people sitting and eating and drinking. And our guidance is clear. They are not to be playing games of any kind, dancing, or standing for any reason other than an essential purpose, like exiting or entering or going to the restroom. We would bring that case to you, regardless of the 50-person limit, on those grounds, and ask you for a suspension anyway. So that's, again, the record before you. The suggestions in the reconsideration and frankly in the lawsuit that this place was adhering to social distancing guidelines and how unfair it is that they could not operate with the 50% restaurant limit is simply false based on what I've seen. So that's the record before you.
Yeah, and I think that the reconsideration that's presented in the lawyer's memo indicating that people were wearing masks only outdoors, that's completely proven false based on the pictures that we see now from Facebook showing people dancing inside with no masks on. Groups of people, not 2 people, groups of people.
Commissioner Fan?
I find that there's continued imminent threat to public health, safety, and danger if we give this license back, even though they may continue to have weddings based on the court decision and serve alcohol from a truck, but I don't think they should be allowed to serve alcohol from the inside for now, given their willingness.
Just to be clear, just to be clear, they're not going to be serving alcohol from the truck either. They should not be doing that.
They should not be doing that. Yes, that's right. And so I vote to not reconsider.
Commissioner Ford?
Do they lose their license for the entire facility?
Yes.
They've already had their license suspended.
Right.
The question is whether you would reconsider that decision.
But I thought they have 4 licenses.
Yes, they do. We have
I think there
the,
might be 4 areas, but they're all one license, correct, Adam?
I believe they're all under a hotel license.
right, right. Boy. Hard to have a wedding without dancing, but nonetheless, they clearly intentionally violated the executive order before they knew they had a shot at it. So I have to vote to deny reconsideration as well.
Just for everybody's understanding, they have a on-premises license. They then have a series of ad bars, right? So they only have 1 license, and that's the license that's been suspended. And because that license is suspended, the ad bar certificates can't be used.
And we knew that at the time of the suspension.
Chairman Bradley?
I'm voting to deny the reconsideration for council's argument. I think it's obvious.
Commissioner Ford, you have to,
What about the banquet hall license then? Different
Mr. Finn,
number.
That is the one main license they have. They have an on-premise for the banquet hall license, as Tom had mentioned. They have a series of additional points of sale through additional bars under that one main license. So that one main license that had been summarily suspended would then cause those additional points of sale, because they're all tied together, to be inoperable and unusable also.
They don't have another license. They have one
Well, I have
license.
2 serial numbers here in the
You
memo.
get that with an add-on, but sometimes you get you get a serial number with add-on.
And that's how we identify it.
Okay.
So the ad bars
Got it.
are assigned separate serial numbers.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ford, do you have to sign off?
No, believe it or not, after all that, I just got a note that the meeting was canceled, so I can stay.
Okay, good.
Good.
So all the jiggering around was,
With that then,
I apologize.
No,
All
it's,
right.
we're happy to have you.
Uh,
do you want to take a brief recess so that the members can review,
just finish this and then we'll do it. Oh, okay, yeah, we'll
we
take
have everything else.
You want to go prep yours? All right, yeah, we'll
So,
take,
all right, so
we're gonna make it 10 minutes though.
we're gonna take a brief recess. Let's plan on 10 minutes. During that time, you could be, I know there is 2 requests for summary suspensions. You can review them.
Yeah, the second one came in this morning, so.
When we come back, we will do those 2 items first, and then we will resume with all the other items in the order they're on the calendar.
Okay.
all right.
my love, my love. It's love.
Okay, everybody, mute your mics.
Oh, sorry.
All right, Commissioner Fan, Commissioner Ford, you ready to resume?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, we're going to start off with the two requests from council's office for summary suspensions. The first one is 1035Q. It's King's OP 1194484. The licensee is New Heights of NY Inc.
Yes, members. This is a restaurant licensed at 137 Schenectady Avenue in Brooklyn. And on August 15th at 11:45 p.m., a multi-agency inspection was done at the location, including the SLA Task Force, the NYPD Vice Enforcement, and support staff from the 77th Precinct. This was a location that had a shooting, a homicide on outside in front of it on August 12th. This is 3 days later. The result of the inspection was to find EO violations and other significant wrongdoing violations, which I will now detail for you. Upon arriving, they heard music being broadcast from speakers mounted outside, which was contributing to the congregating of people outside. Upon going inside, this is with respect to the EO violations, 4 people were drinking inside, standing and seated. The man preparing the food in the kitchen was not wearing a mask. There were other aspects of New York Forward that were not being complied with. This was 11:45, so it was after curfew. There are tables on the street and blocking, etc. But I guess on top of these violations, which are executive order violations and should not be permitted, countenance, the number of other violations in this place are astonishing. Counted as many as 35. Patrons were smoking hookah without a permit. The electrical room was cluttered with flammable materials. There are massive electrical and fire safety violations that are repeats of open violations that were being investigated in 2017, open cases, and obviously these issues have not been resolved in the period in between. They discovered 132 bottles of beer without New York State deposit labels in a refrigerator at the front bar. And as the person in charge saw our investigator counting them and recognizing how much trouble he was in, he first claimed the beer was purchased from Manhattan Beer, and then when he was confronted with the 5-cent deposit labels, he said, well, he actually bought it at another location, but he couldn't remember the name of the distributor.
Or what state it was in.
And then as our investigator tried to pursue an inspection of the rest of the premises, he was blocked, presumably because there was a hell of a lot more beer, illegal beer, behind the locked door. Significant, as I said, electrical and fire safety violations, fireworks on the premises. The person who was there and claimed to be a part owner is a person named Roy Simmons, who's not on the license, so there's a possibility that this is an availing as well. The police issued multiple summonses. There was also a display case behind a door where there were vaping products for sale without a permit. The detective from Vice Enforcement observed cannabis products inside the cabinet. But they said they couldn't open the cabinet, that it was locked. There's a door to a rear bar area with a wall that's not on the license diagram, so that was added after the license was put in place. These charges, these violations resulted in us preparing a notice of pleading with 16 violations. This place is a mess, and it's also not adhering to the EO restriction. The other violations alone would suggest that this licensed premise can't be entrusted to conform to the executive order laws and restrictions. But there are also executive order violations witnessed during this inspection. Plus you have the availing. So we don't even know if we have a licensee who we've approved actually managing and running this place. For all these reasons, there's a risk to public health, safety, and welfare to have this place remain open and serving alcohol. So we ask that the members enter an emergency order of summary suspension.
Commissioner Fan, any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Ford, do you have any questions?
Is he there?
Commissioner Ford, do you have any questions?
Sorry, no, I don't have any questions.
Chairman Bradley.
No question.
All right, then with that, I'll ask for your votes. Commissioner Fan,
As council outlined, at this point, it's unclear whether the licensee is actually in charge of this establishment. And given all the executive order violations that has been outlined, I find that there's imminent threat to public health, safety, and welfare, and I vote to summarily suspend this license.
Commissioner Ford,
For all the reasons stated by council, I vote to summarily suspend as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I vote to summarily suspend on the same reasons mentioned by Commissioner Fan.
All right, the next item we have, which is also a request for a summary order of suspension, is 1035R. It's Queens OP 1294699. Licensee is Tropical Dining Enterprises, Inc.
Good morning. This matter is being brought before you as a request for emergency summary order of suspension pursuant to Section 401 Subdivision 3 of the State Administrative Procedure Act. The premises DBA is Palm Court Restaurant and Lounge. It's located in Queens. On August 18th of 2020, at approximately 7:22 p.m., Investigator Hernandez of the New York State Justice Center and New York State Police Investigator Tinarello were conducting compliance checks, and they visited this premises, which is located at 17-116 Hillside Avenue in Jamaica, Queens. Once they were inside, they observed 4 patrons. Everybody was standing. They were playing pool. 2 were drinking alcoholic beverages. Open beer bottles were observed. Cups with no lids and no straws. Nobody had a facial covering on. None of the customers. The 2 staff members who were present in the establishment, 1 bartender, was observed without a facial covering. The cook was in the kitchen, standing over a food surface preparation area in the photograph that's before you, without any facial covering. It wasn't on him at all. It wasn't down. It was off. The investigator spoke with the individual who identified as the manager and explained that the establishment was in violation of these various executive orders. The premises does have a previous sale to minor from September 2017. These executive orders have been in effect since March in New York City, prohibiting indoor service. There's no way that this licensee was unaware of this, given the current environment that we find ourselves in. And this licensee is obviously intentionally allowing these individuals to come into the premises. There was no food observed either. I should mention that when the investigators arrived. This licensee has allowed people to congregate in a manner that is prohibited by the executive orders, which are designed to prevent the spread of a deadly virus, and this licensee cannot be counted upon to follow the law given the observations on this date. Thank you.
Commissioner Fan, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Ford, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions, thank you.
Chairman Bradley.
I don't have any. Well, the one question I do have, Ms. Gallagher, this is supposed to be a restaurant, right?
Yes, it is licensed as a restaurant. They do have a
Okay.
kitchen, but there was no food observed.
And then I see the picture of the chef. there's no mask within sight of him. All right, thank you.
All right, with that, I'll call for your votes. Commissioner Fan,
Given the evidence presented, I find that there's imminent threat to public health, welfare, and safety, and vote to summarily suspend this license due to
Commissioner
violation
Ford.
of the governor's executive orders.
Commissioner Ford,
I vote to summarily suspend as well for all the same reasons.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll vote to summarily suspend for all the same reasons.
All right, with that, we're going to return to the items in the order they are listed on the calendar. First item is 9:30, conditional offer $1,500.
I would accept 15.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next item, or items 932, 933, and 934, is a conditional offer at $30,000. Just want you to know there's a summary suspension in place, but not for any of these cases.
And all of these cases are unrelated to Corona-19.
That's correct. My understanding is that there's also either a discussion or an offer on the CNC for the summary suspension, but this matter involves 3 cases that were pending and apparently did not go to hearing before the pandemic started, and they're now being offered on CNC.
Commissioner Fan,
Is there a situation where we can hold this over and combine the 2 cases?
I suppose we could do that.
I don't want to accept 30,000 if they're going to end up at a different place after that case comes through.
well, can I suggest this, since I don't know if there's actually something agreed to between counsel's office and the licensee and the other matter, that
Mm-hmm.
if you can reject the counter and then send it back to counsel's office.
You could choose not to accept the
Right,
CNC.
just don't accept it and send it back to counsel's office.
Okay. Then I don't accept this.
Commissioner Ford,
Yeah, I like that idea better too. Reject back to council.
Chairman Bradley.
Yeah, I'm gonna reject this, and I got a counteroffer, cancel and bond. But they can put the 2 together in that mind for me.
So we just
I mean,
gonna,
it's only 1 vote, so it obviously doesn't mean it's cancel and bond, but that's where I'm at.
cancel and bond for these 3 cases.
Yeah, right. It would say that,
Yes.
should that be accepted, it would mean it's on the next one as well.
Right.
All right, next item is 935. It's an offer of $1,500.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 936. It's an offer of $1,500.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next item, 937. It's an offer of $1,500.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 938. It's also an offer of $1,500.
1,500
Fan?
accept.
Commissioner Ford,
938, did we do 937 already?
you just did it.
Oh, that was it, I'm sorry. Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
All right, 940. It's also an offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 941. This is also an offer of $1,500.
1,500
Commissioner
accept.
Fan, Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 942. This is also an offer of $1,500.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
943. Conditional contest of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 944, a $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 945, $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 946, a matter that went to hearing. Charges 1, 6, and 7 were sustained by the ALJ. Charges 2, 3, 4, and 5 were dismissed by the ALJ.
So I'll sustain those charges and dismiss the other charges.
Yeah, this license has already been canceled.
Right. Commissioner Fan,
Cancel for the record.
Commissioner Ford,
Cancel for the record.
Chairman Bradley.
Cancel for the record.
Next item, 947, this is a default at pleading.
Yes, the record reflects that this business is closed, and they did not respond to the pleading.
So
So-
cancel.
Cancel and bond.
And actually, it should be noted that there's no bond available. It was already claimed.
Oh, okay. Just cancel for the record.
Commissioner Ford,
Cancel for the record, no bond.
Chairman Bradley.
Cancel for the record.
Next item is 948. It's also a no contest default on pleading. This license expired back in March.
Yeah, also indication that the location was closed.
Right. And also, this should also note that the bond's not available.
No bond, just cancel for the record.
The bond was claimed in the last matter.
Okay.
Cancel for the record.
Mr. Chairman Bradley.
Cancel for the
All
record.
right. Next item, 949. It's a $1,500 conditional offer.
15.
1,500.
Ford,
1,500.
1,500.
Next item is 950, another $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan, Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 951, a $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 952. It's another $1,500 civil penalty offer. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
953. It's a $2,000 conditional no contest offer. Commissioner Fan,
2,000 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
2,000 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item 954, matter went to hearing. Charges 1, 2, 3, and 5 were sustained by the ALJ. Charge 4 was dismissed. Commissioner Fan,
This is certainly a cancelable offense. I'm only confirming that these things happened in 2017.
Well, I will say for the record that this is dated conduct, and we do not have subsequent discipline record on this since that time, but the date doesn't necessarily, the fact that it's dated doesn't necessarily mean that the location is not deserving of the same discipline you would give them if this happened in 2018 or 2019.
Right.
And to me, the charge is the failure to permit inspection as well as the refusal to appear to testify is saying two things to me. That one, there was something wrong going on inside the store, some of which we found out, and two, more than likely, the person that owns this store is not the person we have on the records.
Well, I'm not sure about that. The refusal to appear or testify, he did appear, but he did not bring the records that were requested of him because he doesn't have records. I suspect.
That's not.
So there are issues with the records relating to his purchases and also sales, which were both charged and sustained.
He says he was at,
Just to be clear, the charge that was dismissed, the improper conduct, for for having untaxed liquor, that may be properly dismissed, but there's no question that the bottles that were the evidence of that were from New Hampshire.
Yes, the purchase from an unauthorized source was sustained because the alcohol was from New Hampshire. Well, at least that's what the evidence said, and that charge was sustained.
I know, I'm not really sure. I mean, 2,000 bottles of Hennessy in the basement in unopened cases. I'm at cancel and bond.
All right, and also sustaining charges 1, 2, 3, and 5, right?
Yes, please.
All right, Commissioner Ford,
I'm at cancel and bond as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I was at revoke and bond. I'm not, I mean, that behavior can't be tolerated in any way, shape, or form, particularly the smuggling alcohol from New Hampshire. If that happens going forward, the license is canceled at a minimum.
All right, the next item is 955, which is a not guilty plea. The judge sustains the charge after hearing. Commissioner Fan,
I am at 750.
Commissioner Ford,
I was at a lot of warning. It's his first time renewal. He has no history with us.
Went to hearing
He went to hearing,
and put in no defense.
Wait a minute.
so he obviously thought that he didn't do anything wrong, which, if he fell on his sword, I might agree with you, but he
Yeah,
didn't.
I'm sorry. He did go to hearing. I'll do 750.
I'll do 750 as well.
all right, $750, charges sustained. And the next item, 956, this is a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
Accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next item, 957, it's also a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
15 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next item is 958, it's a conditional offer of $4,000. Commissioner Fan,
4,000 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
4,000 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
So I was gonna go higher to 7,500 only because of this place. This place in the last, has been problematic over the last 3 years. But since they're at, what were they at, 4,000?
4,000.
I'll accept. But
Next item, 959, this is a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner
15.
Fan,
Accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next item, 960, another conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next item is 961, it's another conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 962, $1,500 conditional offer.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
963, $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
964, $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
965, $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
Accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
970, a $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
Hang on 1 second. 970.
970,
1,500 accept. Yes.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
971 is a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
972, a $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan, Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
974, conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
975, a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
976, a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
977, a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 978, a conditional offer of $2,000. Commissioner Fan,
2,000 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
2,000 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 979, a conditional offer of $4,000. Commissioner Fan,
I'll counter at 7,000.
Commissioner Ford,
I would counter. At 10,000. They're opening a rooftop bar. Employees were dismantling. Investigators were being held at bay. Patrons scrambling to leave as they entered. So I'm at 10,000.
Chairman Bradley. You got 710 or something else?
Or something else.
Now split the difference between the 7 and the 10.
Eight.
And then see if I can get the other two. That is 8,500. Can we all agree on 8,500?
85 it is.
8,500.
And Commissioner Ford is right. The licensee was operating on premise when it should have been only takeout. The licensee tried to delay investigators from entering the premise to conceal what was actually going on. And they have a substantial negative history over the last 2 years.
The next item, 980, a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 983, a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 984, conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 985, conditional offer of $1,500.
1,500
Fan.
accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 986, a conditional offer of $2,000. Commissioner Fan,
I'm going to counter at 5,000. There are two dates on here.
Commissioner Ford,
That to their history, so I'll go with 5,000 as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll go to 5,000. As she pointed out, there's 2 dates for violations, and then there's also some negative history over the last 3-4 years.
Next item is 987, it's a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
988, conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
989, a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
1,500. Sorry, I was waiting for it. I jumped the gun. 1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 990, a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 991, a conditional offer of $1,500.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
992, conditional offer of $1,500.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
993, a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
I thought this was a little bit low. They had 21 people inside, so I'm going to counter at least at 2,000.
all right. Chairman Bradley,
Yeah, I'll counter at 2,000 too.
okay.
Thank you.
Next item, 994, conditional offer of $3,000 and submission of the application to change the DBA. Commissioner Fan,
I will counter at 5, unauthorized change name.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll go with 5,000 as well.
Chairman Bradley,
What were they at, 5,000?
5,000.
Okay.
Next item, 995, it's a conditional offer of $2,000. Commissioner Fan,
I will accept.
Commissioner Ford,
2,000, yeah.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 997. This was a request for reconsideration. It was held over from the last meeting.
Yes. The reason I asked that this be held over, as you may recall, this is one of several parties who was charged with co-op buying purchase from an unauthorized source. And a prior member of this co-op buying syndicate had gotten a CNC for $20,000. So this one was sent up and it was countered at, I believe, revoking bond. And they asked for reconsideration in part because they are seeking, I suppose, similar treatment to the other licensee.
Since they represented the other licensees as
Right,
well.
they represented the other
Which is
licensees as
just
well.
boggles my mind.
And I thought that, and I had understood from from our investigation that this licensee, Wine Authority, Inc., initiated the co-op buying arrangement. So I asked for a report, which the only reason they've not been completed is because our investigators have been moved to investigating executive order complaints. And their work is piled up. So I asked the investigator to submit a report, which you now have, in which he details how the other members of the syndicate point to Mr. Motive. It was Mr. Salerno, that they were approached by Mr. Salerno to engage in the co-op buying. But then after that, they all participated and they all did buying for each other. So you now have that on the record.
So what's different? I'm not sure what's different. What did we find out that's different? Because last time we said that he was the ringleader, and this investigative memo at the end,
I
it
don't believe
says
that.
all these
I
men
don't
stated
believe-
that they were approached by this licensee to engage in the co-op buying to stay competitive.
I don't believe that was part of the record when the counteroffer was made. Now that there's a reconsideration asking for why this individual should be treated differently from the others and asking for leniency based on the other fine, I went ahead and got a report that showed that he was in a different posture than the others for this reason. So you now have that evidence before you. You did not have it before.
So basically he's saying he went and confirmed what you thought, which was he was the
Right.
ringleader.
Right.
Correct.
So nothing has changed.
Well, that changed because
Well,
now it's just
You supported, we just have more of it, but there's still.
right.
So with that, Commissioner Fan, your vote on the reconsideration?
Um, I do not see a reason to reconsider, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Ford,
I'm going to vote to deny to reconsider as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to deny reconsider as well. I mean, this is the type of violation that goes to the heart of what we are supposed to be doing as a regulatory agency, which is ensure that there is a level playing field for all competitors, particularly in the retail buying of alcohol for off-premise consumption. I mean, that's one of our basic obligations, and this type of violation goes directly against that. They were buying in bulk to share between themselves so that they could get quantity discounts. Typically, when we have these types of schemes, we do take a license. This happens to be because the evidence shows he's the ringleader, he's going to lose his, or go to hearing, in which case I would recommend revoking bond. So, I mean, I'll take cancel and bond if you want to do that.
Yes. Then we have to vote to reconsider and lower the,
Yeah, so we'll vote I'll vote to reconsider for cancel and bond.
I'll do the same.
All right. Commissioner Ford?
We can't hear
you're
you.
on mute.
So make it a hat trick. So reconsider, revoke and bond.
Lower- Right.
No, I
Cancellation of bond. You're granting reconsideration and you're amending at least what's being voted on, is amending the counteroffer to cancellation of bond rather than revocation of bond.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, next item. It's 1,000 to CNC of $2,000. Commissioner Fan,
I will accept 2,000.
Commissioner Ford,
Hang on a second. Still pulling up here. 1,000. I'll accept 2,000.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept
Next-
2,000.
Next item is 1,001 to CNC of $1,500.
Tom, apologies. Can you just give me 2 minutes?
Yep.
All right, we're gonna take a brief recess. Please remember to mute your lines, please. Commissioner Fan, are you ready to get going again?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that.
All right, we're back on the record. Commissioner Ford, there we go. This is item 1001. It's a CNC for $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 1003, it's a CNC of $2,000. Commissioner Fan,
Can I just ask about this at first history? So they have a 1,500 CNC that is accepted but not paid?
if you recall, there is a standing directive to Secretary's office that's been extended through September, that we're not sending out the notices of disposition, we're not demanding payment of the civil penalties.
All right, so that
No.
makes it, so this is a second violation?
That's correct.
Which case are we in?
1003.
I'm going to counter at 5,000.
I would take double the last one at 3,000. I mean, they've been around since 1973. So I would go 3,000, which is double what they paid before, what they owe us now.
All right, so we have a counter offer of 5,000 from Commissioner Fan, 3,000 from Commissioner Ford, and Chairman Bradley.
I'll go to 5.
All right, 5,000. Next item, 1004. This is a CNC of $1,500.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
This one?
1,500. Yes, accept.
and Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next item is 1005. It's a CNC of $2,000. Commissioner Fan,
Gotta sell to minor. 2,000 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
2,000 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next item is 1006. It's a CNC of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
This matter probably should be held because we summary suspended this licensee, right?
Which case is this?
we
106.
did just recently issue a summary suspension on this licensee for another violation.
So I'm gonna reject this, Gary.
You
I'm
can
gonna
reject
reject this.
All right, so
Okay.
You're going to deny it and send it back to council's office, no counter offer.
Yes.
Commissioner Ford,
Yes, back to council.
Chairman Bradley.
Yeah, back to council, sir.
Next item is 1009. It's an offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
Oh, Skylark, 50 accept, please. Thank you.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 1011.
Move that closer.
It's a conditional offer of $3,500. Commissioner Fan,
Hey, council, this is one date with no adverse history. Why is this at 3,500?
My guess is that this is, the answer is I don't know. I don't know. I was not involved in discussing this particular one, or if I was, I don't remember.
All right, I remember
But
the check.
I don't disagree that it is more than what we are doing on other similar cases. So if you want to lower it, then that's certainly
Alright.
brought it.
All right, I will go to 1,500, please. Thank you.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll go to 1,500 as well.
Chairman Bradley.
1,500.
Next item is 1012. This is a default on the pleading. Commissioner Fan,
This is a violation on March 20. which is 4 days after the shutdown. The show not complying. I'm at 5,000.
Commissioner Ford,
Yeah, this is early on, right, when everything first started. I'll go with 5,000 as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I would go a little lower. I would go to 3,500, but it's 5,000.
Okay.
I'll do 3,500.
3,500.
Okay, next item is 1013. This is a CNC of $1,500.
1,500 is that.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
So,
Next item, 1014. It's a CNC of $1,500.
1,500 is that.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
so
Next item is 1015. This is a CNC of cancel and bond claim, although I'm not sure if the bond is available. The license was surrendered back in February.
All right, cancel and bond if available.
Okay. Commissioner Ford,
Yes, and bond if available.
I'm sure the bond's not available.
Chairman.
I'll cancel and bond if it's available. I don't think it is either.
That's for the record, Tom, it looks like it was surrendered in February.
Yeah,
Yes,
but we had to take the bond on the previous.
so it
charge.
probably wasn't restored. 1016. This is a matter with the hearing. One charge was sustained after hearing. Commissioner Fan,
This is a noise charge from 2017. I'm at 500.
Commissioner Ford,
Yeah, I'll do 500 as well. Long time ago.
Chairman Bradley.
Why was that cancel and bond? Only because they've racked up $21,500 in fines since September of 2018. And this was prior to that, but what'd you say, 500 both of you? I'm
Yeah.
just looking down for
Yeah.
cancel and bond, so
Next
they're
item.
aware that the next one is probably gonna be cancel and bond.
Next item is 1017. Another matter went to hearing, charges 2 and 3 being sustained by the ALJ. Commissioner Fan,
2 security guard charges, I am at 3,000.
and sustaining charges 2 and 3, right? Commissioner Ford,
3,000.
Chairman Bradley.
3,000.
Next items, 1018 and 1019. Another matter that went to hearing, there's 2 proceedings. All the charges were sustained by the ALJ. Commissioner Fan,
I'm at 12,500.
and sustaining all the charges, right?
Yeah.
Commissioner Ford,
What did you say, 12.5, Commissioner Fan?
12,500.
I'll go with that.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm at revoke and bond. Simply, I don't know that we can allow this place to stay open. I'm gonna ask you both to reevaluate it. This is a situation where an undercover police officer went in, asked for cocaine, was led to the security guard of this establishment, who then went into the bathroom and got the cocaine for the undercover officer. And did not deny that. There's a reason that they go into these places to try to buy cocaine. It's because that's where you go to buy cocaine. But I'm
Yeah.
not revoking bond.
I'll change to revoke and bond as well.
All right, the next item, 1020. This is another matter that went to hearing with 3 charges. All the charges were sustained by the ALJ. Commissioner Fan,
I'm at 4,500.
Commissioner Ford,
Counselor, are 1 and 2 the same charge?
They are separate charges, but they're for essentially the same conduct, that they were open after 1 a.m. They have a
Okay.
stipulation that they've not complied with, and they also promised to be open at 1 a.m., to close
Okay.
at 1 a.m., and did not.
Right.
So they are 2 charges that were both proved, but they are for the same conduct.
Okay, all right. What did you come out with, Commissioner Fan?
4,500.
I'll do 4,500.
What's the other failure to conform?
Not supposed to have a security guard, and they were using one.
Chairman
All
Bradley,
right, 4,500.
and you're also stating the charges, I take it.
Yes.
Next item is 1021. This is a CNC for $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 1022, a CNC of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
For the record, Commissioner Fan, first, let me just say something. For the record, the NOP was served with a second page, as we often do, based on an evaluation of the case, and the number that was put on the second page of 1,500 was not the number that counsel's office would have used for this. It was an error. But notwithstanding that, the 1,500 is the CNC that's being presented to the board.
They have paid over 30,000 in fines since 2016.
Yeah,
Do we have
30,
anything open right now?
32.
No.
32,000.
Commissioner Fan,
Is there anything open or no?
No.
So restaurant wine, 32,000. Putting it very close. Counter at 7,500.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll go with the counter of 75 as well. This place, they paid 32,000 in fines since what, 2007, 2015?
17. Well, they got,
In the last
15.
5 years.
In the first 5 years.
Do not have anything from them since June of 2018.
and the oldest charge is December of 2015.
15,
well,
yeah.
that's the oldest charge you have.
That we have,
We only
right.
show 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, all right.
Chairman Bradley,
I'll do what they're.
the next
They
item,
haven't been nothing since this.
next item is 1023.
It's amazing.
It's a CNC of $1,500.
You can't be everywhere.
No, but they're on that street. That's.
Commissioner Fan,
1,500 is
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next item is 1025, CNC of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 1026, a CNC of $1,500. Commissioner
Accept.
Fan, Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 1027, CNC of $1,500.
Accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 1028, it's a CNC of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 1029, it's a $1,500 CNC. Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 1030, it's a CNC of $1,500.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 1035I. This is a proposed advisory to extend the deferment of the collection of civil penalties for another few month or so.
Okay.
Commissioner Fan?
Tom, you have to just give me a moment here.
Okay.
The document that I have from the system doesn't actually have the text. So can you just read it? Because the advisory is actually not there. I'm sorry, I should have asked you earlier.
Just give me a second, I'm pulling it up here. She's scanning the. Oh, hold on. All right, so you have, after by series of advisories, directed Secretary's office to defer sending out notices of disposition to collect civil penalties, except when there's been a summary suspension. That
Yes.
current directive is going to expire tomorrow. This proposed advisory would extend that deferment until September 30th. So we would not be requesting payment of civil penalties on anything that's been imposed between March 24th and September 30th.
Oh, hit that button.
Okay.
It's no deterrent. Less of it.
All right, then, Commissioner Fan?
Yes, I vote to approve this advisory to postpone the deadline for deferral of collection of civil penalties to September 30 for all cases that do not involve a summary suspension.
I think they're gonna.
Okay, then, Commissioner Ford?
We should just send them all. He's not out.
There you go. Sorry. I vote to, I vote to extend to September 30th as well.
Chairman Bradley?
As do I.
All right, then, the next item I have is item 1035J. This is another advisory extending relief granted on prior advisories regarding the time to submit the renewal fee with renewal applications.
Till September 30th as well, this year.
Yes,
Commissioner
okay.
Fan?
Yes, I vote to approve the advisory with the extension of times to submit renewal fees to September 30.
Commissioner Ford?
I agree as well.
Chairman Bradley?
I will as well.
Chairman Bradley, I have no other items on today's calendar. Do you have anything else you want to raise?
No.
All right, with that, thank you all, and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I can tell you, if you send out all those